Hey, 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 welcome everyone to another episode of Lug Racing. My name is Don, your host. With me also, as always, Ryan. Thank you for being with me. Boy, do we have something special cooking up for you guys today. I can't wait to get our special guest introduced. Ryan, man, we got something really special going on today. What do you got for me, bud?
Oh, absolutely. Don, it's a pleasure to be here as always. I am so excited for this guest. We really have a budding superstar about to join us. And I am just so excited to welcome somebody who has been tearing it up from the time she was in micro sprints to running any form of dirt racing and now venturing into the asphalt world. We bring in California native Jade Avedisian. Jade, how are you? Thank you for joining us this evening.
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me. How are you guys?
We're doing great and glad because you're here.
Absolutely.
Perfect. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, Jade, that intro I gave you, just want to recap because anybody who is not familiar with you or your name, they're certainly going to be soon. But again, you are, let's see, you were a micro sprint phenom in your middle teens. You were the ripe young age of 18 years old now, but at age 17, you win the Extreme Outlaw Midget Champion and became the first female dirt midget champion in history. So congratulations to you on that.
Thank you. I
You're the
appreciate it.
you're you're the highest finishing woman in a Chili Bowl prelim in history in 2023 as well. And then you go on to ink a deal, a multi-year agreement with TRD, which is Toyota Racing Development, and you've become a full-time development driver of theirs. You know, we've seen you in Toyota TV commercials with NASCAR stars. You've got international podiums in Perth, Australia, to now running GR Cup Asphalt this season. Um, you are a rising phenom, and I'm so glad to have you here. But all that doesn't happen just overnight, and that's why we want to have you here to try to talk about how you became who you are now and the name you're making for yourself, not only in the dirt world, but now you're venturing into asphalt racing with big goals in the future. So let's rewind the tape a little bit here, Jade, because you don't become a micro sprint phenom in your mid-teens by accident. When did you get behind the wheel of a race car?
So I started racing when I was 7. My dad used to work on dirt sprint cars. So when I was born, I was kind of always around it. And, I was actually at a dirt track when I was 6 months old. So I was introduced, at a very young age. And he bought me a quarter midget when I was about 4. I tried it out. We just go to like empty parking lots, literally just to see if I liked it. And at first, I really didn't like it. And take it for granted. I was 4, so he kept it around for a few more years, and I tried again when I was 7, and then that was kind of the moment that I enjoyed it, and I think the rest is kind of history. Like I think the next weekend we were at the racetrack, and ever since then I've been racing almost every single weekend, or if not many times throughout the year. So yeah, my dad introduced me, and super did.
So dad is a race car driver, or is it something that racing has always been a passion of his? And how did this how did dad get his little daughter into a 4 years old, mind you, that how did that come to be?
Yeah, so my dad never raced. He just, the same deal as kind of me. He always grew up around it, and he worked for a lot of people on the dirt side. And then when I was born, he was, working with Michael Facino's dad on his sprint cars. So obviously, like I said earlier, like I was introduced, very young and into the dirt world, or even, racing in general. But he never raced, and I don't know if he wanted to, or if he just wanted to work on it. But like I said, he was around it, and that obviously made me, a part of it, kind of. And yeah, so I think he always had a passion for it. So he was gonna see if I liked it. And honestly, when I was growing up, around like 7 to 10, probably, how old I was, I played a lot of different sports. It probably took me till I was like 10 or 11 to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. At that time, I was in school too, so I played a ton of school sports. I think I tried out like 5 or 6 sports. So obviously, racing was the one I picked, and the one I enjoyed the most. So yeah, it's kind of interesting because like I said earlier, like yeah, I got in it when I was 7, but 7 to 10 or 11, I still tried a lot of different stuff just to make sure this was the thing I wanted to do, and obviously it is. So I still have a lot of passion for it, and I still love it every single day.
I'm really curious. You said it really started around 4, but you didn't like it. Now, are those memories that your family shares with you that they say you didn't like it that much, or is that something you remember off the jump that you just weren't quite sure, or how did it come about that it came back around to you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm honestly not too sure. I personally don't remember me getting in the car at 4.
Right.
That's always what my parents say. But I do remember when I was 7, we were just in the parking lot, and I do remember just going around in circles around cones, and then pulling over and telling my dad I wanted to go race. So I do remember that. I do kind of remember my first few years in quarter midgets, vaguely, obviously, but yeah, I was the one that kind of made the decision that I wanted to do it.
Awesome.
Well, Jade, you round from California. You're a California native. Um, we know of anybody who's familiar with the dirt racing scene understands that there's been some phenoms that have come out of California to make it to the top tier in the NASCAR world. One being of Kyle Larson. And I want to mention him because I mean that guy seems to go out and nearly win every time he's out there on a dirt track. And this man has had some incredible praise for you. He's a NASCAR Cup champion, and he's won just about any luxurious or prestigious dirt race there is out there. Some of the quotes he's had was best female to come up in quite a while in the dirt stuff. She's a gasser, very aggressive and fun to watch. What does that mean, having a Cup champion like Kyle Larson singing your praises, especially with you having I mean you're 18 years old. That's got to be mind blowing to have somebody like him of his stature talking about you and you being on his radar.
Yeah, it's definitely really cool. Especially from a guy saying that. That's I think obviously gonna be one of the greatest race car drivers to kind of ever exist that in my lifetime. So for him to be saying that is obviously really cool. But at the end of the day, I just kind of got to keep working hard and keep executing and doing my part.
When you got that update, let's say it was a text on your phone or you read it, what kind of feelings do you feel? Is it like shock? Did you get goosebumps, or was it just like, that's really cool, I still gotta buckle down and get accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish? Because a lot of people can get easily distracted by stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't get me wrong. I thought it was, super, super cool, but kind of like what you said, like it's cool, but I also, have a long ways to go, to where I want to be. You just got to take it as, very cool. And, obviously it's cool to have it on the internet as well, but I got a lot of steps. So I just got to keep my head down and keep going day by day.
Awesome. Good
Uh,
deal.
Gotta love that humble approach from you, and also, I mean, you're wise beyond your years, and I see it behind the wheel of a race car as well, and I know obviously, like you even said, there's a lot of growing and a lot of learning opportunities that you're going to have on and off the track. Yeah, and that just comes with experience. Whether it's on track or life experience, whatever may be the case. But one of those common grounds that you and Kyle Larson has in common is I believe that you've ran a race as teammates on a weekend, and B, I know you've both driven for Keith Kunz. Can you shine a little bit of light of what it's like to be, not only hear those comments, but to be Kyle Larson's teammate for a weekend? And then also, what type of wisdom does Keith Kunz bring to the table for you? Being that you've been able to run his cars and do it at an extremely successful rate.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. Or it was 2 years ago. At the time, I was running for Chad Bowden and CBI, and Kyle had come out to Millbridge for the show and ran. So like you kind of said, that was like really cool to have him as my teammate, and then like to have him, or used to have him in the KKM stable is also really cool. So yeah, so I think, when I switched to, KKM, I wasn't really, too sure, how it was going to go. And, I think anytime you switch to something new and you have a new, environment around you and new people, you're just not sure so you honestly do it and, go how it sees. So, after the first weekend, last year in DeCoin, I kind of felt like we were going to be very, very good. Definitely going to be the car to beat, and that was the first weekend, and then a month kind of went by, and I didn't have that same mindset. We struggled for a month or so, and that's how we got so far behind in the points, and then all the pieces kind of came together. I grew so much, and like you said, Keith Kunz and Pete, and at the time I had Jared Martin. They kind of in one or 2 month span. My maturity level and my ways to think about stuff just went through the roof, and honestly, it's just because I had great people around me, and great mentors to me, and great coaches, and I feel like by mid-season last year, like I said, I matured a lot, and I honestly think that really showed just with my racing stats last year. So which kind of struggled in the beginning, and then from mid-season on, we were, I think, the car to beat every single weekend, and even this year, obviously, Jared Martin has left KKM, and I was, with a different group of guys at KKM, and my crew chief was Bo Bender, and even that, took a minute to kind of figure out, and I haven't won a Midget race yet this year, so that's also something is like a hard pill to swallow, to being, kind of lights out this year, and then not even winning a Midget. It's definitely tough, but yeah, Bo's done a good job. Some people just don't click. Me and Jarrett clicked the first weekend out, and I feel like me and Bo, it's taken a few weekends to get in a rhythm, but I think the last 4 or 5 races we've been together, we've been pretty good. I felt like Angel Park, we could have won either night, and we just, had mechanical failures each night, and then obviously BC39. That was probably going to be my biggest win of my dirt career, and it just wasn't meant to be. So we've gotten better, but it's definitely a hard pill to swallow. Not midget race this year yet, but I know Bo's going to keep working hard, and we'll get it eventually.
Well, if law of averages has told us anything, that win is coming. So
Thank
keep at
you.
it.
Yeah. And maybe in some ways, Jade, we talked about, like, life experience, and as you know, racing can be a very, very humbling sport, and it can happen very, very quickly. So, maybe it's not such a bad thing when you're up here and you kind of get knocked down a peg a little, to kind of appreciate and get back to the grind. But like Don said, I mean, the law of averages tell us it's coming. Now, also, though, you didn't run as much dirt this past year because you started to make your transition into asphalt. I wanted to talk to you about that because obviously you wrap up a 2023 campaign that is just incredible. You made all types of history, as far as winning the midget championship, and then you have all this off-season stuff. You go to Perth, Australia, right? And you get to run some international races. So before we get into Asphalt, I wanted to talk about that. What was it like for you to get on a plane and go run races down under? And I, being a guy who understands, the dirt racing scene, the dirt racing is insane down in Australia. I know, there's guys like Larson, Bell's gone down there. They've all gone down and got a taste of that. What's it like down there running with the Aussies?
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. I had met Sean Dyson probably a year or two ago. Through some friends, and it honestly kind of perfectly aligned from when I could kind of take a break and head down under to Australia. So yeah, Perth was a very cool track. The fans in Australia were really cool too. T-shirts there, and they were out in like the first day. So it was very
Wow.
cool to experience, and we also kind of took a week and went on vacation. So it's just cool to see something kind of different. Driving on the other side of the road with the driver in the other seat too. So yeah, it was a cool experience, and I'm definitely glad I got to see Perth and race at Perth, and just kind of take it all in. And yeah, it was definitely pretty cool.
So
Now I got to ask, since you brought it up, what did you get to enjoy on vacation while you
So
were
we
out there?
went to the Gold Coast, I believe it was called. It was a beach,
Okay.
with the town and stuff. So we spent a week out at the ocean, and kind of just took a family vacation.
There you go. Kind of turn everything else off for a little while and just enjoy yourself a little bit, especially being on the other side of the world like that. You
Yes,
got
for
to take advantage
sure,
of it.
for sure.
did you see any wild kangaroos? That's what I was going to ask.
I did. Yeah, we were driving.
Up, they still on the internet? Like, are they
We
all
might have
stacked
been
up?
driving to the track, and one was like going over the road. So it was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, he had like a little baby too, so it was cool to see.
Oh, that's awesome. Now,
Awesome.
so you got, if I'm not mistaken, 2 podium finishes down there, and then am I right? Two podium finishes down in Perth, and then you come home and get ready to start your asphalt career, right? So you started with the Toyota GR Cup Series this year. I know one of your best races of the season actually came not too far from where Don's at Coda, and but can you talk to us a little bit about your transition from dirt to asphalt? Because obviously, we're talking two completely different animals. And we're not talking about kangaroos anymore, but two completely different animals as far as the car you're driving and what you're driving on. Because I mean, you're running predominantly, you're running road courses. So you go from dirt ovals to road courses and all types of different stuff. What's it been like making that adjustment? And who's been coaching you along the way? Because I doubt they just threw you the keys and say, figure it out.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different, and especially going to a road course where I've never really gone left to right. It was hard. I'm not gonna lie about it. It was definitely a struggle. I feel like kind of every single weekend, and also never being to any of the racetracks, and not testing beforehand. I kind of just showed up and raced for 45 minutes for 2 days. So I had a lot of good, people though, to kind of make my learning process a little bit quicker. I had Bon Suss, which was, great to have him, and a few people from Nitro Motorsports as well. So they definitely, did kind of everything they could to get me to learn it as fast as I could. But even with that, I think it's just experience and laps, and it's also kind of tough where I only have 7 weekends in that, and then every other weekend, my focus is, somewhere completely different on the dirt stuff. So I think it was, very hard to, take a series and, put, my full focus into it full time. Obviously, when I leading up to the race the week of, and when I got to the racetrack, that's what I was thinking about. But for me personally, I think, I'm better when I can put, all my focus into one thing. I think that also kind of, maybe hurt my dirt side. Like obviously last year, all my focus was, just on dirt. So I think it kind of, changed up a few things for me. But, with that being said, that's also, another experience I kind of learned from. So yeah, it was fun. I definitely, have a lot to take away from road course racing, and obviously they're, very momentum based cars. So I thought it was, a good experience. And like you said, we had our best finish at Coda, which was a fourth. And every other kind of weekend, I don't even remember where we finished every weekend, but most of the time it was, a struggle to run in the top 10. So I think I maybe finished eighth one time, and 10th or 11th, or wherever I kind of shook out to be. But yeah, it was hard. I'll be the first to admit it. It was definitely a struggle, but I'm glad I got to experience it, and I think that would be good for the future too.
You know what's good about that is it's supposed to be hard. Like that's the reason we do these things. It's not supposed to be easy, or else what's the point,
Yeah,
right?
for
Anybody could
sure.
do it, but you're showing that you're one of the few that are capable of handling the pressure and handling the emotional swings and et cetera, the learning curves, and you're doing a phenomenal job. And just congratulations on
Thank
that
you.
aspect. I was curious, do you have any kind of simulation at your place, or is that something strictly at the shops that you go to, that you're able to practice and get ready for upcoming events, or is that something that's still not really a part of your
No,
schedule
so
yet?
we don't have a rail sim, or I guess I should take that back. Leading up to Sonoma, I was in the TRD sim, and I ran,
Okay.
a lot of hours on it, because really at the beginning of the year I had no idea, what I was kind of doing. So I was able to spend a lot of hours on the TRD sim prepping for Sonoma, and then kind of just with everyone's schedules, and especially right now, obviously the cups or the Jared Cup season just finished, but it's also playoffs time. So there's a lot of moving parts over there, but luckily iRacing is honestly close enough. I feel like it might not be exactly, but for me, I think it was just to try to kind of get like references on the racetrack, like breaking marks, and just
Right.
visually seeing it, besides my first lap on the racetrack. We utilized a lot of iRacing, a lot of hours beforehand the race, and especially the week leading up to it, we were on it every single day for many hours. So yeah, I think it was good. I feel like the more time and more prep I put into it, I feel like the better I showed up and more prepared I showed up. I think kind of anyone would say that too, but yeah, we definitely used iRacing as much as we could just to get visuals, and breaking points and all that, like I said.
Good
So
deal.
I was gonna ask, and spin off of that, Don asking about the sim time. Were you a gamer at all? I mean, because it's like I was going to ask about that iRacing because and you answered it. It's close enough. Yeah, I'm just amazed on how much I've seen and talked with drivers that utilize that as that is a tool in the tool belt, especially for all you up and comers who haven't seen these tracks. You guys might have seen them just as much as I have, and you're racing more than I am because I don't race. So it's impressive to see how that translates for you or helps at least in some aspect. What though will you say that you're able to take the most out of iRacing and apply, especially and I don't even know if you use it at all for dirt, but especially when it comes to the asphalt aspect. And have you tried any racetracks that you weren't necessarily going to be racing at in preparation just for fun? I'm just curious, how much are you on it for fun, or to learn something that you're not trying to practice, like a Sonoma or a Coda?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely run iRacing, for fun sometimes at tracks, that aren't even on my schedule right now. But the biggest thing I kind of take away from iRacing for prep wise is just visualization. Like, I feel like if I can, see it during the week, and kind of just memorize the racetrack in general. Instead of, my first few laps out there, I'm just trying to figure out, where the track actually leads to. So that was, the biggest part that I took away from iRacing. But yeah, I never did any dirt on iRacing. I never even really did it, for fun. I've kind of just started, running sim and running iRacing. Just kind of at the beginning of the year. I never really thought, it was close to dirt racing, at all. I kind of thought, it was more for fun than to take it
Hmm.
kind of serious. And, I think that's obviously, just the dirt. Like obviously every single night it could be different. And pavement racing and road course racing, it's the same thing, every single weekend. So, yeah, I never used it at all for dirt.
Great answer. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense too. Um, now we talked about the pavement racing that you've been doing. We're close to the end of the calendar here in 2024, and thinking ahead to 2025. I know that your goal is to obviously continue to grow on this career. So what's in store for 2025? What can you speak on for it?
I want to say, but I can't say yet. But a lot
Fair.
of a lot of pavement stuff, and I'm running another late model race in 2 weeks, just to, prep. And like you said, obviously it is kind of the end of the season, so there's not many options. But yeah, I'm just gonna take my off season and. Once it kind of comes, and just put my head down, and I gotta work out more. The pavement cars are hard to turn, and obviously you're not coming.
And
What
they
was that?
let you know real quick. I was gonna say they let you know it's hard. It's hard on the asphalt real quick, man. Your
Yeah,
arms, your back,
yeah, for
everything's
sure.
hurting.
So, yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna have to put my head down this off season, and honestly, this is probably gonna be, one of my tougher off seasons. I feel like, the last few years, my off season has, been an off season, and I've gone on vacation, and I've, messed around and been a kid. But this off season, I'm actually gonna have to, use my downtime and just kind of put in the work. I have a lot of learning. So basically, I just want to be, the most prepared I can be. The most, diverse race car driver I can be, and take that kind of during the off season, and hopefully have, a strong 2025, and hopefully start off the year, really strong as well.
Uh,
I love the mindset of utilizing your off season. You said I was a kid before, but this off season I'm really going to buckle down. But being a little bit older, and I say a little bit, but we're twice your age. Make sure to enjoy your fun stuff too, because that stuff you can only utilize it once in your lifetime. So I know you got a good work ethic. I know you're a hard worker, but make sure you're having fun in between
Yeah, for
also.
sure. I think it's also like a little bit of balance too. You got to work hard and be the best you can, but you also, like you said, you also need your fun time once in a while. So yeah, we're gonna have a balance
Right.
off season, but it's gonna be more work than fun probably this off season at least.
well, that nose
Good
to
deal.
the grinding stone mentality is, we've been fortunate to do a lot of these interviews recently with a diverse group of drivers, whether it's from the dirt world or um, the Craftsman Truck Series or the ARCA Series or wherever it may be. Um, One of the blue collar things that always kind of aligns is that nose to the grinding wheel, because if you want it, you got to go get it in this sport. It's no mercy, right? And now Jade, you've been out there, a woman in a male dominated sport, and I love to see it because you're whooping on these guys too, and especially in those in the dirt series. And I know it's going to come in the asphalt too once things start to click for you. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, you talk about all this work, right? But let's get away from that for a second. You're a young adult now. What does Jade like to do when she's not behind the wheel of a race car?
I like to golf. Obviously the
Oh,
winter's
okay.
kind of coming up, so I like to snowboard too. And then summertime, I really like to wake surf and be out on the lake. So those are kind of some of my hobbies that I like to do when I'm racing.
So outdoors type of
Good.
stuff.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I don't really like to be inside, really.
Oh, that's good. You know, to be
you, you picked a good profession to make
Yeah,
sure that
that
doesn't happen. That's for sure.
yeah, exactly. So now going into 2025, you still plan on running some dirt racing in addition to the asphalt stuff that I know you're growing into.
I'm honestly not too sure. I don't want to, speak on it too much just because, I'm not sure what I can exactly say yet. But I know it's still fairly early into, planning my whole next year. Just because I'm still racing a little bit, so I'm not too sure. Honestly, quite yet. I hope so, but at the end of the day, I need to wherever my focus is going to be. And obviously that's where I want to, or my focus is, I want to race on Sunday. So I feel like if I can, put more focus into the asphalt world, then I think that personally be better. But obviously, like I said, it's kind of early. So I'm not too sure yet.
Okay. And now you just spoke of the late models and made your first late model start. Can you tell us how different a late model is from the GR Cup to a sprint car? I mean, you're getting behind the wheel and everything right now, like you said, diversifying your portfolio. What was that experience like in the late models?
Yeah, it was actually really cool. I had a lot of fun doing it as well. I think it came a little bit more natural to me just because it was, an oval, even if it was pavement, but it was, just turning left. So yeah, it was fun. It was my first race, in Orange County over the weekend, and we qualified second. We were like .003 off pole. I redrew the four, so I started fourth, and I took the lead like 3 or 4 laps in the race. It was 50 laps. I led all the way to lap 44, and I just got like really, really free the last like 10, 15 laps. So I wasn't, able to kind of hold on. So I finished second, but yeah, it was a good experience. It was, I had a lot of fun doing it as well. So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully I could do, a few more too.
I love that because it's not always a loss, it's a lesson, right? You finish second place, but you know what you can improve on the next time you're in that situation when your car frees up on you. So it's not always a loss, and it's almost always a
Yeah,
lesson.
for
So I love
sure.
it.
So yeah, I think obviously, it's something new again. So a lot of positives to take away from the weekend. And I think, after you kind of get your first race out of the way, you know where you stack up, and you know where you can do better. So
Right.
I'm glad to have kind of the first one. Now I have an idea, now I should say I took my first green flag. So I think that's just, a big part of it all. So yeah, it was cool, and I'm looking forward to the
Right.
rest.
So
Good deal. I had
Oh, I was
go ahead,
gonna
Ryan.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
gonna say late models, the GR Cup, the Sprint Car Series. I'm sorry, not Sprint Cars yet. The micros, the micro sprints you've run. You've also ran in USAC, and then the Extreme Outlaws. So even though you are, a young adult, you've been racing really since 7. So what I would say would be your favorite racing experience thus far to date?
Oh, it's hard to say. Honestly, I think, each car I get in, I, definitely have, my set of, memories from each car. But I'd say kind of in general, I love dirt racing. I think that's kind of no secret. My passion's very high, and I think, my favorite year so far has to be, last year. I love the people I was working with, and obviously when you win, it makes everything a little bit better. But I just love, I love midget racing, and I love dirt racing. But I will say, I had a lot of fun in the late model. Like, it kind of, it's hard. I know this is kind of crazy to say, but they kind of, relate a lot more. Just the oval, compared to a road course. So yeah, I think, I have a lot of passion for dirt racing. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But I will say, I had a lot of fun in the late model as well this past weekend, though.
Yeah, they're super fun to watch too, and you know, I'm excited. I'm excited to try to tune in and see you run your next one. You know, that is a what series did you run in as far as the late models are concerned?
So it's just like a local series in North Carolina. It's just called Carolina Pro. I think that's what it's called. It was basically just to kind of, get my feet wet, and like I was saying earlier, just to take my green flag, or my first green flag, when the pressure isn't, too high, and just learning right now. So yeah, I ran, just kind of a local series, last week or this past weekend. I think it was, a low pressure environment for me to just kind of go log laps and learn.
That's great.
Absolutely. So this is something I like to ask our guest at some point in the show. And growing up, we all have our favorite athletes, right? There's people that we look up to. There's people that we try to mimic when we're out on the field or on the course doing our thing. Mine was Tim Duncan in my basketball background. Casey Kane was my favorite racer. Loved watching him wheel when he was younger and still able. Ryan, of course, loves Bill Elliott growing up. I'm really curious. Are there athletes, and it doesn't have to just be racing, but are there athletes that you look up to that kind of reminds you of yourself, and who would they
I
be?
definitely look up to, Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell. I think the drivers that, really stand out are the drivers that can go, back and forth. Obviously, Christopher doesn't, do any more dirt racing, but I'm sure, if you got in, let's just say, a sprint car or a midget, you'd be just fine. So I think
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the drivers that kind of, like I said, the drivers that kind of stand out are the ones that can, kind of get in anything and, do really well, or if not win. And so that's kind of it on the racing side. And then lately I've never really been big into, basketball or any kind of, like, I don't watch football or any of that, but lately I've been watching like old basketball films, so like Michael Jordan. So I'm kind of a Michael Jordan
Nice.
fan now. So yeah, I think it's also kind of cool that he's obviously in racing, owning 2311. But yeah, I've been kind of watching him lately too.
Right.
Oh, he's a good one to watch.
That,
Yeah, for
The
sure.
goat.
I was going to say, if you need a role to learn how to be successful, I think that's a
Yeah,
pretty good choice.
100%. So
Yeah. Now you had just mentioned
Awesome.
Seabell, and that was actually another one that I had written down some high praise, and when it comes to guys who have come out of the dirt world lately, you talked Christopher not getting to run him as much anymore, but yeah, absolutely, he could go back and wheel those things. Larson obviously is one, and saying high praise. And there's a few others that have made it all the way up to NASCAR Cup now. You start to see a lot of and Don and I will talk about it, on race weekends on Sunday, and Don will text me or I'll text him. There's a lot of dirt at the top of the charts right now. And you're seeing it more and more, and I think it translates to these new cars that they're driving. But Seabell, I wanted to talk about that because um, super super fast and consistently maximizes the equipment you're in. She's breaking down barriers. That's a quote from Christopher Bell, another guy who is absolute superstar, perennial Cup contender. That he's proving to be, and it's just so cool to see these guys recognize you and your chops at such, and you got such a career ahead of you too, and it's just so great to see that. But again, seeing a guy like Seabell, and now being that you're a TRD driver, and so is he. He is actually, we learned that he is the reason why TRD is TRD. How
Yep.
how much interaction have you been able to have with a guy like Christopher Bell, being that you guys kind of come from the same camp?
yeah, like I see Christopher, a few times throughout the month. But yeah, like you said, obviously he kind of, he started TRD, which is, kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, he's obviously, phenomenal, behind the wheel of anything he can gets in. And for him to, to kind of, like you were saying, for him to say that stuff, about me is super cool. But like I was kind of saying earlier, like, with the Larson deal, like It's, it's great for them to say that, but I just need to keep learning and get back to the winner circle too. So there's just a lot of things I need to take, and just keep kind of taking my days day by day.
Absolutely. And I love the humility by you, Jade, but talent recognizes talent and there's no denying that. And you got it. And the winner, so that stuff's gonna come. The racing is a humility sport. It can humble you super fast, like we said. And you take your lumps with the success, and it's hard to win in racing, no matter what it is. And I know this, but for anybody out there watching and listening, that's you lose more races than you win, and that's just a stat, and that's a fact of life in racing. It's just it is what it is. So
It's just how you handle the losses is what's going to define
Yeah,
your
for
career.
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, you
Ab-
definitely are gonna lose more races than you win, just because of how many races are on the schedule. But yeah, like you were saying earlier, it's definitely humbling. Like I thought I was, the person after last year. Probably a little bit too much, and I got humbled pretty quick. So that's just like a prime example
And
right there that you're only up, for that weekend, and you can be right back down, the following week. So it's definitely a tough
right,
sport. Everyone's so good right now, and there's a lot of kids coming up, and obviously the people that have been doing it, let's just say the midget world, they're just as good as the kids coming up right now. So it's tough. It's definitely tough, and but yeah, you just gotta keep learning, and I feel like once you kind of put yourself in position, race after race, one's gonna work out, or one you're just gonna
right.
be better than your competitors that night. But yeah, it's tough.
This young woman is beyond her years in her mind. I can tell you that right now, as far as racing is concerned. I mean, you've got your head on right,
Thank
that's for
you.
sure. Having that mindset towards the sport is very important because, like you were saying, you can't get too high on the highs because it's going to bring you down even harder when that next week comes around and you finish 38th
Yep.
out of the field. And so just I love your mindset. Talk to me 20 years from now, and you're looking back on your career. What is something that you want to leave behind for the young racers coming up behind you? I know you're still incredibly young, but what is something that you hope to leave behind in the racing world?
Oh, that's a hard question. I'd say, one thing I would say to, somewhere if I was, 20 years older and I was trying to help out a kid, right now is just to, take it all in. Obviously, you get high strung, you get strung into racing, and you always just kind of have to remember, why you're racing, and your passion and love for racing. Like kind of what we were just talking about, like it's a lot of highs and lows. And when you're down, and you just need to kind of remember, why you're doing it, and you have a lot of passion for it as well. So yeah, just kind of slow down once in a while, and just kind of, be grateful for, opportunities you're getting, whether if it's good or bad, it's still an opportunity you had in your lifetime.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
great answer.
it's incredible. And and to spin off of that, as I swear this the guy up here reads my mind sometimes. You know, you're again, we mentioned it, and I don't want to beat the dead horse, but you're a female in a male dominated industry, and I for one think it's amazing for what you're doing and how you talk and carry yourself. Is just you ever hear that expression, you're an old soul. That's kind of that vibe I get from you, and that's not a bad thing, but like, um what advice could you give, and it's got to have already been happening, to any of the little girls that come up to you at a track, or or
Or
little
look,
boys, yeah, but I mean, just you get to be that flagship for those young little kids that just see you doing this, and it's like, hey, I could do that too. It's got to be a great thing. What advice do you give to them?
Yeah, it's for sure, really cool. I think, when little kids come up to you and, tell them, or, they say, I inspire them to start racing, is, It's obviously hard to put, feelings in a word for something like that, but it's obviously, super, super special. So I just kind of, tell them if you want to do it, you got to put 100% of your full effort in it, and it kind of just all depends on how bad you want it. Want it bad, you want it bad, and you'll do whatever it takes to succeed. So I think I'm very grateful for all the little kids that come up to me, or even kids my age. I think it's really cool for them to come up to me, and I think for me talking, I think fans and atmosphere is very important. I think a fan base is super special, and obviously important. So yeah, I think it's all something to kind of take in, and something I'm kind of happy to have.
Yeah, and I only see yours growing from here. I mean, that's awesome. You shared that the shirts in Australia and they were gone, and that quickly. And it's great to see you get that support, but not only in the U.S. where you're ripping the wall, but in international as well. That's just insane. I know we're getting closer on our time here, Jade, and again thank you so much for spending your evening or a piece of it with us to chat racing. But I have one more thing I want to ask you, at least, and you've said it. The goal is to race on Sundays, um, and so my question to you is, since you want to race on Sundays, clearly that's obviously in the NASCAR world. And have you been able to go and experience with your racing schedule as busy as it is? Have you been able to get away and go live out that weekend and see what it's like from and follow a driver through their weekend to see what that's like, what that entails for you coming up? I mean, I know you've done it in other series, but that demand of NASCAR racing, have you seen it and firsthand?
Yes, I have. And obviously, like you said, it's hard for me to, go out a lot because, with my racing schedule. But I had an off weekend a few weeks ago, and I went out to the Roval, and obviously it was easy because I live in, Mooresville, only 30 minutes from Charlotte. So yeah, I got to experience it at the Roval, and a few other times. And I think when you go get to kind of experience it, and see what you really want to do, it makes you kind of work that much harder to be that person racing on Sundays. So yeah, I got to experience it, and I think it's very cool.
Oh, that's awesome, and so glad that you got that opportunity, and I know you'll be there, sooner than later. So, I personally, for one, wish you all the best. Again, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to come chat with us. It's the first time, but I certainly hope it's not the last. We want updates as you progress, and we'll follow along on your journey, cheering you from the sidelines, so to speak, or from the pits, we should say. But it's been so great to sit and chat with you and pick your brain, and just, yeah, old soul vibe I get from you, Jade. It's just, you're so wise beyond your years, and I know you got a good team behind you supporting you, and I'm so excited for your future. Can't wait. I can't wait to see you start parking it again, and not only that, but on in the dirt world, because I know you're itching for that one. Obviously, that's a monkey you want off your back, but asphalt too. So thank
Yep,
you
for
again.
sure. For sure. Yeah,
Thank you
no
so
problem.
much.
Thank you guys for having me on too. I appreciate it.
Ryan said it perfectly. Thank you so much, Jade. I won't elaborate on that much more. We appreciate everything, and your family too. Make sure you tell them thank you for
Yes.
letting us borrow you
Yep.
for a little bit. I know you're going to do wonderful things here in the future. You keep up that hard work and keep that humble mindset.
Thank you
You're going to be
guys.
just
I
fine.
appreciate it. Nice to meet you guys too.
Yeah. Likewise.
You too.
Thanks you too.
Take care. Ryan, this was our first female guest and racer, and she's just as incredible, and she works just as hard as these boys. So I can tell you one thing: if you're watching and you're coming up through the series, watch out for her, because she's going to whoop your butt too. But no, just another wonderful, wonderful guest. I'm so excited for her and her future opportunities that she's earning. Like, these aren't being handed to her. She is going out there and she is earning them. And she said it so amazingly. Just another incredible interview. Ryan, what are your thoughts on it, bud?
Boom, because 2 words, Jade Avedisian. It's going to be a household name in motorsports. If you're a racing fan, you're going to know her name because she's going to earn it. She's going to earn that right for it. And I've had the privilege to tune into races of hers. I've rewatched races, knowing we were going to get this chance and opportunity to have her on here, and it's just so incredible. Her future is so bright, and I'm so excited for her, and can't wait to follow up maybe at the end of next season when she's been ripping and tearing on the asphalt a while.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ryan, another wonderful episode here at Five Lug Racing. I appreciate you so much for everything you do behind the scenes. Again, thank you to Jade for hanging out with us this evening. That was absolutely incredible. And you know what? We're going to get some more of these things lined up, and we're going to knock them out for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, comment. Tell us what you think of Jade. Check out all of her social media profiles. Every little bit helps, you guys. Get on there, check out her stuff, like them, give her a follow. All the support helps all the way across the board. My name is Don. With me, my co-host Ryan. As always, this is Five Lug Racing. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.